Alright guys, it's Bradu. Let's get down to some cave crawling as opposed to dungeon crawling. I am playing Shadowdark solo. Solo Dark, I suppose you could say. We are playing the Mother of Madness today by Samuel Wright. Okay, yep. And here we go. So, what we know. A farmer named Ickham survived and escaped some goblins that have been terrorizing the village and kidnapping people and sacrificing them at the stroke of midnight. And he escaped and told the townsfolk that something needs to be done. There are some people in the cave still alive. 5 or 6 have already been killed. 5 or 6 are still alive. And so the village called to nearby villages to anyone who was brave enough to help. And that's how this crew came to be. So here they are. They're only about a mile away from the cave. So we're going to go. This is going to be kind of the marching order with the two bulky guys in front. We've got Gregor Christoff, the half-elven fighter. He's a portly but jolly fellow. We've got Nune, the Knight of Saint Ydris. Those are these two front ones. We've got Rune Willforge, a Dwarven priest. And we've got Cixelsyd. The wizard, human wizard. And then following behind them a little bit is going to be Killsy, the Elven Thief. She likes to stay in the shadows, so she'll stay near the group, but, maybe in a position that she wouldn't necessarily be spotted. Okay, so as we approach the caves, I'm going to go ahead and roll a random encounter check. On a 1, on a d6, there will be a random encounter. No random encounter. Oh, I need to light my torch. We're going to go to simdark.net. There's an awesome timer here that we can set to go off randomly. I'm setting the minimum torch 30 minutes, max torch 60 minutes. You toggle sound, hide time, and random start all on. And then click. How come it's not going? Click. There we go. I clicked the button. The torch shows up. You can see it when it's lit. And it's going. And at some point between 30 and 60 minutes, the torch will go off. And I don't know when that's going to be. So Cixelsyd is carrying the torch. And here we go. We come to the cave entrance. And there is actually a locked door to get into the cave. And Killsy has to come up to try to break into the door. Pick the lock. As a thief, she gets advantage to any sort of thieving type activities, such as picking locks. And the lock is a 12 DC. She's got a +4 to her dex, so she needs to roll an 8 on either die to get in. We got a 12 and an 8, so she's good. We sneak in, or actually, while she's picking the lock, we will have Nune listen in at the door. I will try to remember that to be kind of one of his jobs. And the way I do that is, I don't know what's behind the door yet, so we're just going to roll 14, and his wisdom is a +3, so a 17. So that's a pretty high roll. He would hear just about anything that makes noise unless it's a very faint noise. Okay, so we enter the room. It looks like it is a pretty giant, cavernous room. Entered from 1 mile away. There is a small spring, roughly 20 feet wide, with a pool of water connected to an underground river on the north side of this room. Okay, we are going to have let's see. The party enters the room. Cixelsyd is carrying the torch. Got the wrong person on the torch. He's over there. And we're going to roll initiative. We've got a 6, +4, because I will use the highest dex from anyone in the party on initiatives. Kind of the idea is that whoever the highest dex is going to spot something and then can alert the other members of the group. So we've got a 10, and I'm going to give advantage because there is a creature in here that we don't know about. No, 5, so we actually get the advantage. So what that means is all of a sudden we notice some rumbling in the ground from over, we'll say over here, and this giant scarab beetle emerges from this big tunnel that it's dug up through the ground, and we got advantage, so I'm gonna go for it. Let's see, the closest is gonna be Gregor. He's just gonna run up and attack. Yeah, let's try that. He's got a bastard sword, +4 to hit. And let's see, for right now, he's not using his shield, so he's going to go two-handed with the sword. A 4 is going to be a miss, I'm almost certain. I didn't look at what the creature is. Yes, it is definitely a miss. On that note, let's have Rune is going to cast a spell. He's going to cast Holy Weapon and try to bless Rune's weapon with magic. So I need to roll, I've got a +2. I need to roll an 11, so I need to roll a 9. 16. Okay, so Holy Weapon is cast. Great. And he will then hold where he's at, and Nune will come rushing up and attack. Nune has a +3. Yeah, +3, and it's going to be +4 with the Holy Weapon. 11 +4 is a 15. That is a hit. Nice. And he does D8 damage. It would do. He's got a bearded axe. He's got 2 bearded axes actually, but I'm holding one and carrying a shield. 1 damage +1 for the spell, so that's 2 damage to the creature. Lost my. Okay, so 2 damage. That's not great. Let's try having. I have a house rule for thieves for backstab. Sorry, I lost my pencil here. And that is that they have to make a sneak check at a DC 18. So she's got a +4 and she gets advantage. So she needs to roll a 14 on one of these 2 dice to be able to sneak well enough to get a sneak attack off. 4 and 2 is not good enough. So she doesn't get to sneak, but she still gets to attack. I think maybe she'll come up a little bit and throw a dagger. I've got a pair of daggers with her. So she gets an attack as a 16. Nice. That is a hit for D4 damage, I believe, unless she has a bonus somewhere. Nope, D4 damage. 4 damage. She did more with her dagger than the other dude did with an axe. So now we've got, let's see. Let's do a spell. Let's do, actually I'm not even going to worry about mage armor because this is one creature. So it's probably not going to get to us. Cixelsyd said, I will cast a missile that is magic. And he gets advantage on magic missile. 17 will hit. So that's a D4 damage as well. 3 damage. This thing is not dead, but it would need to make a morale check at this point, huh? I don't know where it would go. You know what? I do know where it would go. So he's going to make a morale check. Four. A morale check, it basically means the creature would have to roll a 15 or higher. They get to add their, what is it, wisdom? I think wisdom. But anyway, we're not even close. So this creature says, F you guys, I'm out of here. I don't necessarily want to die. I do think there's a chance that it doesn't attack on the way out. Let's see. That's not kind of a real thing, but that's kind of a, playing solo, you can make decisions like that. I'm going to say on a 50-50 chance it attacks. So does it, I like to make my check. So this is called an oracle check. I'm going to roll a d20. On 11 or higher, it's a yes. On 9 or lower, it's a no. And 10 would be a twist. So I like to try for a high roll. I like the high roll to be the more favorable for the party. So I'm going to pose the question like this. Does the creature flee without making an attack? So flee as fast as it can. 12, yes it does. So he's not even going to do that. He's just going to burrow back underground and hide out. I don't know that we're going to try to do anything. Let me see. It's got some weird stuff. So it takes off down into a tunnel. The only thing I'm going to do is I'm not going to try to chase this thing, but I am going to say that it's close that I can get off a magic missile. So I'm going to shoot a magic missile. Ah, fudge. Okay, 17 is good enough. I got to do something about this. I keep dropping stuff. So on a D4 for damage. 1 damage means the creature gets away and is still alive. I think I needed one more hit point of damage would have killed it. Okay, so that threat is taken care of. And let's read the rest of the room description. Okay. Someone has scrawled, "Beware the mother of madness" in fecal matter on the west wall, and there's a buzzing noise of flies. So we might have heard the flies through the door, but we wouldn't have heard the creature who was burrowed underground. There's a small spring. We got that. What? Oh no. Well, let's check out the spring, I guess. And on that note, there is another creature. I think we're just going to go for it. Had I said something different, had I said, like, I wasn't expecting this because we already had a fight in here, but had I said something about what we were doing differently, I might have been able to avoid this. But I think we're going to check out the water. We're looking for treasure or whatever. We've got Killsy looking for secret doors as well. And there is a creature here. Sorry, it's a lot to read. I'm afraid to pause it. I've had a problem with that lately. So let's roll initiative. We see something swimming around in the pool. And on a 13, it might get us. 13 plus 3, it does. So it's a 16 and we're a 15. This 3-foot-long fish has a body shaped like a frog, but a long tail instead of hind legs, and long fins like a flying fish instead of forelegs. It's got a wide mouth full of sharp teeth and is notorious for knocking fishermen off their boats and into the water. Called a So I'm gonna say it leaper. It leaps around. It leaps out of the water and tries to pull someone in. And I would say it would be our two main guys who were in here. I don't have a mini ready, so this guy looks like a swimmer. We'll call that our water leaper. So he leaps out, and on a 1, 2, 3, he's gonna try to get Gregor. On a 4, 5, 6, he's gonna try to get Nune. So he tries to get Nune, and he rolls a. Oh, it's not even an attack. It is +1. 6 is a miss. I think we get to attack then, because it's got special things, but I think it has to hit for the special thing to take place. So as it leaps up, these two are going to start swinging. Let's have Nune go first. 4 misses. How about Gregor? 6 is also going to miss. Yeah, for sure. So the others are going to come in at that point. I'm going to try something here with Rune. He has a crossbow. So let's try the crossbow. Haven't done that yet. 3. Nope. This is looking bad. Killsy will come over. I'm not going to say that I can get a surprise sneak attack on a water creature in the water from us being out of the water. She's going to throw a dagger, though. 14 is going to hit. 4d4 damage. Another 4. Sweet. Ah, 4. It has 4 hit points. So she kill shots it with a dagger. Awesome. So he just goes into the water. Okay. And then as we search the room, I always search rooms. So as we search the room, we do find, it doesn't say that this is like hard to find or anything. 10 silver pieces. No, that's it. Great. 10 silver pieces in a greasy pouch hidden under a pile of small rodent and fish bones by the northern wall near the spring. I actually was kind of expecting the treasure to be in the spring, to be honest with you. So she will go in and fish out her dagger. And let's see. I'm going to try and keep this moving. So let's take a look at our map. Oh, it's a big opening. Okay. So there's a massive opening. We can go to the south. We can go to the east. So south or east, there's a fork. So on a 1, 2, 3, we'll go south. 4, 5, 6, we'll go east. South. Okay. What do we have here? Okay, so we come into this room. It's another big, huge room, but I'm just using the dungeon pizza to kind of abstract how everything is going, what everything looks like. And we come in, and there is this room is stinking of human waste and fear. And in the middle of the room, there is a wide, deep pit, and there are 2 goblins guarding the pit. And upon seeing us, we're definitely, this is not like, I don't think this is a situation where we're going to talk our way through it. Well, let me think on that for just a second. No, I don't think it is. So we're going to go straight to initiative. Goblins are purple. We are blue. The goblins saw us coming. So before we even get anywhere near the pit, they've got short bows, so they're going to fire short bows at us. They've got 2 attacks, 2 goblins, so 2 attacks because there's 2 goblins. And we're going to say, who are they going to attack? They're not going to attack Killsy because she's in the back. Could they attack any of the other 4? No, I'm going to say they attack the front 2 because we definitely have. So 1 attack on each of the front 2. Black will be on Gregor. 8 and a nat 1. On a nat 1, what happens? This goblin, I have an idea. So this is just kind of a funny mini, but it's silly. So I'm going to say what happens. I'll use a different mini here because of that. I don't have a perfect one, do I? Whatever. So on that note, one of them falls into the pit. Because he was positioned on top of the other, and he's hanging on to the edge of the pit, and the other one is right here. So what are they going to do? It's our turn to go now. There are peasants at the bottom of the pit, so we're going to run up. I'm going to go for it and just try and take these goblins out first, I think. So I'm going to run up with Gregor. Christoff. Figure that one out. And he's just going to attack. 12? That probably hits a goblin. Yes, it does. Can he do 5 damage? Because that's how many hit points they have. He's doing... I said earlier he is not using his shield right now. So he does a d10 of damage. Two-handed with this bastard sword. 5 damage. Okay. So he one-shots this goblin and just slices him, and down he goes. And the other goblin is hanging on at the edge of the pit. Do I just slaughter him? I think this might be our opportunity to do something. So I'm going to try to intimidate him. I'm going to yell. Does anybody speak goblin? I think I have a goblin speaker. Nune does, and he would be the next one to attack anyway. So he comes up, and in Goblin, he starts speaking and says, "Do you want to live or do you want to die?" And the Goblin says, "I want to live, I want to live." Actually, should I roll some kind of an intimidation check? I don't know. I will, but I'll make it at advantage. That's what I'll do. Because, so he's not a real good talker, but this Goblin is not in a good place at all to be doing anything, to be bargaining. So I'm going to make an easy check at advantage. Now I do have a -1 on this check. Easy checks are a DC 9. So, oh yeah. So he's totally intimidating. It says, "No, let me live, I'll do anything." The peasants are down at the bottom. They're not particularly dangerous fighting types, so they're probably kind of more scared than anything, rather than like trying to pull the goblin down there. But Nune's got his axe ready, and he's like, "You better start talking. Tell us what you're doing here. Tell us." Now, I don't actually know the whole story, so that's going to be a little tricky. I can say he would give up that there's a boss, and I did see that. There's a boss goblin here, and his name is Zrak. Zrak is the boss. He tells us what to do. I don't know what else he would tell us, because I don't know I don't actually know what's going on. So we do know that there's sacrifices being made. So I guess what I'm going to say is he'll tell us whatever the nature of the sacrifices is. And if we come to a point in the adventure where we have a chance to use some information, we will assume he has given us that information, because we did okay, here's what we're gonna do. So we're gonna leave him hanging on the edge, and we are gonna get a rope and start pulling up the peasants, and all 4 peasants will get them out of the pit. And then we're going to shove the goblin down into the pit. So we're not going to kill him, but we're going to put him in the pit. And we got to find a way to cover up the pit so he can't just climb out. Though it kind of sounds like it's not easy to just climb out, or it would be, or somebody would have tried, right? So the peasants come out and they start talking. The potter's sons, who we heard about, Endric and Rowan, though they were teenage boys, I think. Doesn't doesn't say that, but it said grown boys or something. Another guy, a sheep farmer, Tenenrius, and Remy, an apprentice carpenter. So they all come out. They're terrified. They know what's going on here in that they've seen others who were with them disappear and not come back, and they pretty much know they're dead. I think the best thing to do here, especially since this is adults and men, is that we're going to get them to the entrance, which is not too far from where we are, and tell them to make their way back to town. They're out of danger once they get out of this cave. So we will walk them back to the entrance that we came in. And on that note, I will roll a random encounter check as we're escorting them out. 5. No random encounter. What are we going to do to try and cover this pit or whatever? I don't know. Does it say how deep the pit is? 10-foot deep pit. I think he's stuck there. I guess that's what I'm going to say. He's stuck there. Offhand, I'm trying to think if we have anything I could use. But we really haven't found anything. And I don't, like I said, I kind of don't want to kill him. So, okay. So we're going to move on. That means we... What is that? Oh, okay. There is a door we might find. I see what it is. And that would be... Would she be good at finding secret doors? I don't know if that would be considered a thieving thing. I don't think so. Let's see. It says thievery, climbing, sneaking, disguises, finding and disabling traps. No, it doesn't say anything about secret doors. But I did say she's looking for secret doors. So, which doesn't make sense now that I think of it like that, because she would be looking for traps and somebody else would be looking for secret doors, probably Nune. But I said it was going to be her, so we'll have her check for the secret door. And secret doors should be hard, so I think a 15. Nat 1. She does not find the secret door. Is there something bad that happens? Probably not. I'm going to check something. I'm going to peek at the timer. It appears to be still going strong. The timer actually has a visual, like it starts to burn down, which is kind of a cool feature, I think. Okay, let's see if we can keep going. Next up, we are going to go, since we didn't find that secret door, we will go back to where we were and go to the east. So we went south, now we'll go to the east. It's room 3. Oh, just thought of something. We're going to take the goblin's stuff. So they had short bows. I don't care about their clubs, though we will take the clubs so the one at the bottom can't use it. But I am going to say we take 2 short bows. So that is usable. I'm going to give an XP for that because it's actually, they're not valuable, but it's a weapon that our characters could use. So I will give a short bow to Killsy, and it doesn't matter. I guess Gregor. Okay, and I don't think they have anything else. Yeah. Okay, room number 3. So there's nothing to listen. Well, I guess we can listen. There's not a door to listen at, but I think we could listen from the opening. So let's have Nune take a listen. 12 would give a 15, so that's pretty good. That's pretty good. This could be fun. There are piles of bloody rags, flea-infested furs, moss, and rotting straw. Form beds used by goblins here. Ooh, I need to make a check. Sometimes there is something here. Nope, not this time. There is a tunnel to the east. Big tunnel. Oh, I see. There's a big opening is what there is. It's not even just a tunnel. Ooh. Oh. Okay, so I said there's something here that is not here, so that's going to change the outlook of this room. A fair amount. There is still something here, though. And I'm going to give a check to see if we see this. This is one of those things in solo gaming, you kind of have to make rulings that are a little different. So there's not really perception checks in Shadowdark, but as a solo player, all I can really do is say my characters are usually doing this or doing that. So I'm looking for dangers. So I'm going to give my perceptive person, Nune, a chance to see what's hidden in this room. I'm going to make it difficult, a 15. So he's got a +3, so he needs to roll a 12. Nope, not at all. So on that note, here we are at somewhere in the middle of the. Let's see. Does it say there's a campfire? There is a campfire. It's just not lit. So we'll keep the. Actually, this pit is now going to be a campfire, which is funny because I'm using the campfire as a torch. So we're kind of approaching the campfire to check it out, see what's going on. And as we're doing that, something drops from the ceiling. Spiders drop on. How big is it? I'm going to say it drops on a random person. Now, they're coming from the ceiling, so it could be anyone. It's not necessarily going to be the front people. So I'm going to go a D6. I'm just in the order. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And on a 6, I'll roll again. 1 is Gregor. So a swarm of spiders, not just one, but it's a swarm. That will represent a swarm, so I don't have to go digging right now. They attack, and I'm going to say they get surprise because we did not see them. So I'm not even rolling initiative. They just get surprise. Let's see, +3 to attack Gregor. That will hit. 18 will hit for sure. 1d4. He takes only 1 point of damage, but potentially poison also. 1d4 plus poison. What is poison? DC 12 con. So he makes a con check. I'm trying to remember if he has something interesting. No. Nope. Nat 1. Do I use my luck token for that? What is the poison? Paralyzed 1d4 rounds. I'm going to go ahead and take that. I'm not supposed to know that, but I'm not going to use my luck token on that. So he is paralyzed. That's all we know. So he goes down. He goes down, paralyzed. But that's it for them, right? They only get 1 attack. It's a swarm of spiders. I'm going to have, this makes sense to me, I'm going to have my wizard, Cixelsyd, come over here. He's got the torch, and he's going to say, a chance to cast my hands of burning. And he goes to cast Burning Hands, and that's his spell. That would be awesome. 15, absolutely. So he comes out and he spreads his hands and lights the whole swarm on fire. It does a D6, I think. 2, weak. Does only 2 damage. Thought that was a good idea too. close at all. So he's gonna then move at least a couple things away, so he's kind of out of danger. And I guess the others just have to swing away. I'm gonna swing the axe with. Well, do I have a spell? I don't need to do. I don't want to risk holy weapon, so I'm just gonna swing the axe with Nune. 10 might hit. Ooh, 10 is a +3. It does hit. For D8. 4 damage. So he takes a big swing, and it's kind of a... The way attacks work depends on how you look at it, but it's not necessarily one swing. So I'm looking at this like he's swinging his axe repeatedly at the swarm over this short period of time. So he cuts down a fair amount of the swarm. They've taken 6 damage now. And I will try the same thing, I think, with the priest, with Rune. Though it's definitely not his best, but I don't see shooting a crossbow making much sense at a swarm of spiders. So I'm going to try with the mace. Alright, let's go for it. He doesn't have a great chance. 15 -2. It does hit. Awesome. For a d6 of damage. 3 damage. Does that take care of him? I think it does. It does. He needed exactly 3. Man, we've been getting pretty lucky without taking a whole lot of... So the spiders are taken care of, and we can just wait out Gregor coming back from his paralyzation. So I guess I'll roll now how long it's going to be. It's 4, so it is 4 rounds. So we've got to wait for a little bit. There's nothing else in here in particular, so we're just going to wait it out for 4 rounds. And I think what I'll do because of that, we do have to make a random encounter check. And I also think there's a... I know what I'm going to do. On a 1 or a 2, there's going to be a random encounter. 1. There's a 1 anyway, so it absolutely would be a random encounter. And what's going to happen is he's paralyzed. Gregor's paralyzed. When does this happen? This is important, actually. So I'm going to roll which round it happens on, because he's paralyzed for 4 rounds. Which round does it happen on? The 4th. That's good. So he will come to next round. He will be unparalyzed. But while we're in here, he's paralyzed. We just fought some spiders, so we're clearing out the spiders. We're just hanging around where the fire is, essentially. I would say we would get back into our formation. And some goblins come around the corner. And it is... how many? 1d6. So, 6 goblins. 6 goblins. This is kind of big time. So what we're going to do is we're going to say, let's look at our map. I'll say we were kind of in the middle of the room. Which direction do they come from? We don't know. Actually, I said we're in our formation. So here's our formation. They could come from one of 3 ways. So I will roll it this way. 1, 2 is going to be the east. 3, 4 is going to be the north. I guess it would just, well, and 5, 6 will be the south. 1, 2 from the east. That kind of sucks. So it's actually going to be from behind us. So 6 goblins are going to come sneaking up. I'm going to move this so that we can, because now this will be kind of the new center of our... Oh boy, they're coming from here. All of a sudden goblins show up, and we'll find out what happens with those goblins next time. I'm going to give this a good stopping point. We got a good session in. I got to be careful Torch is still going right now, so well, I can't start a new torch. Can I pause it? I think I can pause it. Okay, so part 2 coming up.